Here I'm back. People, do you want our freedoms taken away from us? That's my question. Do you personally don't care enough that you'll sit back and let our freedoms taken away from us? See, that's how abortion got in. We sat back and didn't say anything. That's how prayer got taken out of school, because we sat back and we didn't say anything. And now we got Obama health care thing, and it's right in the hands of the IRS, the very people that all of this big scandal's going on, that was blackmailing, bullying people during the time of this last election. And one of the people that are the biggest was Sarah Hall Ingram. And the man that happened to step up and take her place, because see, she got promoted. Oh, she got promoted. Now she's head of the IRS on the thing about the Obamacare bill, the health care bill, okay? So if she was devious enough with whatever group else might be with her to blackmail, badger, like people from the Tea Party. I didn't agree with everything the Tea Party talked about, but yet I didn't disagree with everything either. But anyone that was trying to get a 501c3, which I wouldn't touch the stupid 501c3 for anything. I had looked into it to get it for my ministry, and I thought, do I want the government with their beady nose into my ministry, telling me eventually what I can preach and can't preach, what God I can call on or not call on? No. I don't want the government in my business when it comes to the ministry. God is the only one that I'm responsible to go to talk to. He's the only one, not the IRS, not the government. But there was people that was trying to get 501c3s, which was, well, say of the Republican Party, or that was not liberal, more more wanting less government, but yet God in the mix, conservative. Is that what you call it? Conservatives? I'm a Democrat, but I'm conservative. I am. Not all of us Democrats are out there as liberals, running around, spewing out all kinds of bull. But let me tell you, Sarah Hall Ingram should not be in the position that she's in. She misused it when she was over the IRS, period, on the 501c3s and things. And you think she's not going to misuse it when it comes down to Obamacare? I think we're on dangerous grounds, because in that Obamacare, there's a little thing that says that they want to chip everybody. put that little device in your hand or wherever, where they can track you wherever you go, track you on whatever you're doing, know everything about you, know all your health problems, know everything about you, all your finances, where you go to church, where you buy your groceries at, what store you spend your most money at. Do you go to the movies or do you not go to the movies? Or just everything about your life. And we have this woman that has already abused her power once and got away with it because she got promoted into a different section, and the guy that was promoted and put in her place is now stepped down. He took the fall, and he wasn't even involved in it. Well, let me tell you what you need to do. No, I'm not going to tell you what you need to do. I'm going to ask you to think about it. I'm not the government. I'm not going to say, all right, people, we need to do this, and blah. No. Okay. I'm going to put a few things down below. You make up your mind. Let me see. You can call the White House. There's a couple of phone numbers I will give you. One's on communication and one right to the switchboard. The communication phone number is area code 202-456-1111. Ooh, very simple. Now if you want to get to the switchboard, you can call 202-456-1414 and leave a message for them to relay to the president. Get rid of, put on trial Sarah Hall Ingram. Get her out of the IRS, period. And get the IRS out of our health care benefits. It shouldn't be their job to oversee anything like that. IRS is for taxes. You work, you make money, and you pay taxes on that money. That's what they should be about only. Not all of this other stuff of dragging the healthcare system into it. The president is making this into a, not a democracy, maybe a communist type country, or a dictator, saying, you have to have this health care, and if you don't, we will fine you, and we will charge a big fine, and that's why we want to put it in IRS communication. No, wrong. He is trying to force us into a situation whether we like it or not, or he can fine us and fine our company if we have a job after this mess is over. Because if companies don't do exactly what he says to do and how he's saying to do it, which is really hard to understand all of that tax law. I admit that. I've read some of it, and man, oh man, it's like, and it says, what? Huh? Okay, I'll reread that. And it's, what? What are they talking about? Because In a way, if you do this, then you're going to break that law. If you do that, then you're going to break this law. I mean, it's like, whew, it's a mess. It's a big, gobbly mess. Job together. Even companies can't understand. Even some of their lawyers can't even understand all of the bill. Oh, you can get the bill on the internet. It's on there if you want to read it. If you want to have a mind warp beyond mind warps, go and find it and read it, and try to read it anyway. Try to understand it. It's like it's almost set out to fail before it begins, you know, in some of the wording. But needless to say, this woman is going to be in charge of the IRS healthcare bill. She's already done and broken the law on trying to manipulate people and groups that she don't like. She has overstepped her bounds. She has used her authority, or maybe I said misused her authority, and Obama has decided this is a good woman to put over his health care, IRS. Well, that says to me, he may say, oh, I didn't know nothing about this thing going on with IRS until I heard it on the news. But then why did he promote this woman to this other position so quickly and bring this other guy that was going to retire anyway? You know, it's like, okay, we'll get him to step up, bite the bullet, and leave you, Miss Hall, to fill this position. See, it would be like Obama looking there and said, see, I can see how devious you are and how you are attached to me and you'll do anything I'll tell you to do. So we're going to get you out of the way. We're going to put you over here and put you in a different position. So when all of this stuff breaks, then this guy who is agreeing to step into your place, and which he's going to retire anyway, won't be no big deal for it to fall on him. You see what I'm talking about? If you don't keep on top of things and understand what's going on, they're going to push this stuff down your throat, and then years later you're going to go, oh, why did I not listen? Why did I not understand? You know, if enough people call the White House and say, fire this woman, fire Sarah Hall Ingram, fire her, put her on trial and prosecute her for breaking the law in misuse of her position in the higher power. Maybe she needs to spend some time in prison thinking about it. Maybe she needs to be up there going, maybe I did do some things I shouldn't have done. Maybe I did overstep my power. Maybe I did go after people I shouldn't have went after. People trying to promote a better America. Trying to promote and keep the Constitution of the United States. See, these are some of the people she went after that had simply wanted to get a 501c3 for their organization, like the Tea Party, the Party for Israel, the party that preserved the Constitution of the United States, simple people like that. She went after. She would go in and have their books looked at. She would have them checked out. She discriminated. That's against the law too. Plain and simple. If enough people call Washington, D.C., call the White House saying, we want this woman fired and we want this woman put on trial for abuse of her authority over the IRS. We want her head, per se. Also, I'm going to put the White House's address at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest, Washington, D.C., 20500. And as well, call your congressmen and your senators in your state saying, we want this woman fired. We want her to stand trial for abuse of her authority in the IRS, because she was the one in charge during the time when all this mess was going on. The man that stepped down wasn't. He's only been in there for a short period of time. But this thing had gone on for 2 years. 2 years. Under her authority. Under her authority. And she's getting away with it free. Gratis, with a new job that is even more powerful because it takes care of the healthcare system. You want somebody like that running the IRS over the healthcare bill? If she can do it back then to people, what do you think she will do with the health care bill? She will be aggressive. If you decide, no, I don't want a chip in my arm, she has the audacity that she would come and get you and put you in prison for not getting it. She would harass you, track you down, and beat you up with the authority of the law. Because she will have the authority of the law of the IRS of the health care bill. Why do you think that Obama might have put her there? Because he knows that once it all gets going, there's going to be some difficulty. And when you have a tough person that could care less about the Constitution of the United States, could care less about the people out here that need the true help, she could care less as long as her rules and authority is followed. And as long as you go along with what she thinks is right with the Democrat Party. And yes, I'm a Democrat. And I'm speaking out. So, honestly, people, this thing will happen and go right down the line unless you, the people of the United States, call in and speak out. Speak out and say, for this woman, prosecute her to the fullest hilt of the law of overstepping her power and authority and using it and abusing it. And then go after President Obama. I would just love to see him impeached. I would. I mean, we went after Clinton, my Lord, for having an affair. Well, I know that was wrong. But affair, that pretty every man, or the biggest part of men and women, do all the time nowadays. But this is serious. Bill Clinton's affair did not affect me. Thank God. I wouldn't have let the man in my door, let alone in my bed. But anyway, and I don't hate Clinton. I don't. That's just saying, okay? But these things that are happening now with the IRS will affect me and you. Seriously. And it's time for you to speak up and step up and say, no more. Won't do it. Won't take. No. And we're not going to be silent, and we're not going to shut up until you fire this woman and prosecute her. If we have to, we will bug you every day of the week. I'm not scared calling in. I've called the White House before. More times than one. I even got to talk to one, Reagan. I remember one time I was having trouble in Coffeyville, Kansas when I lived there. And I picked up the phone and called the White House. And I got a hold of the secretary, President Reagan's secretary, and explained the situation of what was going on there about misappropriation of money and stuff. Because at that time, Kansas the governor had wanted to take the money from women in transition, that was money that was set aside to put women that didn't have a mate and didn't have the job training, and it was set aside to send women to the community college for training to be able to get a job and support their family instead of having to live off of welfare all the time. And I worked with this group, and when all of this was going on, there was a big hurrah because they wouldn't take it and send it to the prison up in Kansas. And I happened to call around, and I found out that the prisons get an enormous amount of money to take care of prisoners and stuff like that. And I couldn't figure out, why was they wanting to take the money for women in transition to go up to the prisoners, or up to the prisons to facilitate the prisons. So I called the White House, and I told the president's secretary the whole situation, and said, I was told, okay, stand by for a minute, okay? And okay, I was put on hold. And the next thing I knew, I heard this manly voice. And immediately when I heard him start to talk, I knew who he was. I mean, I watched President Reagan when he was a movie star. I loved him as a movie star, so I was well acquainted with his voice, which he introduced me as the president, and almost fell out of the chair. I thought, wow, I'm talking to the president. I was living with my sister at that time in Coffeyville, Kansas, And I'm going, and I'm going, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm like, at my sister, I'm going, President. I mean, I was freaking out. And I explained to him what was going on and everything. And he said, I will have an investigation of this. Well, needless to say, that was one president. When he told you he would do something, he did it. Because he had a big investigation, and there's people that lost their jobs over that situation. Seriously, lost their jobs. And I went, wow. Wow. I talked to the president. And he even wrote me a letter thanking me for letting him know what was going on. And I was like going, wow. And Coffeyville, Kansas newspaper had a little deal on a woman talking to the president, you know, and the community college at Coffeyville was really, I mean, they got their money and they were excited that I had the guts enough to call the White House and talk to the president. Which I didn't think I'd get a hold of the president, but I did. I doubt you'll get a hold of Obama now. Excuse me. I just... Don't call the White House thinking you're going to get to talk to the president, because that was just a rare, peculiar moment. That had to be a God thing. That's all I know, because this thing needed to be taken care of. And for some reason, he chose to talk to me. Now, I'm sure that I could call the White House every day, and if one time that President Obama ever got on the phone and talked to me, I'd faint. Yeah, I would. I'd go blap right in the floor. But then he probably wouldn't talk to me too long, because I'd let him know how I feel about some of the choices he made and some of the choices that he was doing to America, and how as an American I was displeased with those choices. Now, I would do it in a nice way. I wouldn't go off and start hollering at the man and all of this stuff. I mean, that I had learned a long time ago, if you're going to negotiate with somebody, negotiation with the people and screaming and hollering at them is going to get you nowhere. You have to do it in a dignified, civilized manner, giving them as much respect as you would like for them, whether they will or not, would like for them to give you in the conversation. And being respectful, even if you disagree with each other. You know, sir, I respectfully disagree with you. Period. I mean, yeah, would I like to scream at him and say, you know, you're the most rottenest president we've ever had, and I don't know how many years, since Jimmy Carter. My gosh. Would that get me anywhere? That would go, click. This woman's crazy. Don't you ever let her get back on this phone again. That's exactly. Probably send out the men in the white coats to come and get you, you know. So, you know, when you're dealing with people, and I'm not talking just about the president, I'm talking about anyone. If you're having a disagreement and a conversation, you can never win if you're screaming and hollering at them. You have to be dignified. Put out the facts, not theories, but the facts before them, So you need to get all your ducks in a row before you get on a phone and start talking to somebody that's supposed to have more sense than you have, probably. More education, maybe. Hopefully, since he's the president. But anyway, you need to let the White House, you need to let your senators and congressmen know that you don't want this woman ahead of the IRS in any shape or form, let alone the IRS that's going to be handling your health care. Think about it. This woman that did all of this crud with the IRS, and it's a big scandal right now going on, and it's a proven fact, she was the one that was the head of it, not the man that stepped down. So if you're an American, if you're a citizen of the United States, call and ask for her to be fired and put on trial for abuse of her authority. Okay, my second rant's over with for today. Hopefully we'll get back on the Bible tomorrow. But I'll put the links down to the White House. You'll have to go find your own congressman and senator's phone number. I can get it for Arkansas, but I'm not going to look up all of the states of the United States to get it for you. Put out some effort. Tell them, get rid of this woman. Prosecute her for overstepping her bounds in her authority. The IRS has got us under their thumbs already, my goodness. And putting the health care bill under their thumb? Oh my, they can run a life in a split second at their discretion. Tear homes up, tear families up, tear lives up, and put people in jail themselves. Should they not be held to a higher standard since they have all of that authority? You better believe it. Good night, people. God bless. Love you.